And our next presenter is going to be Leslie Herps of RGTN. So Leslie has been our customer for 12 years. He's a serial entrepreneur, creator of many interesting components and services revolving around PortaSwitch. And we recently shared with you his success story regarding an SMS gateway, an SMS service. And we're going to probably do some kind of interview today, asking him questions and just trying to understand what kind of SMS services he has implemented and his team has implemented. Hi, Leslie. How are you?
Hey, Alex. Hey, thanks for having me. Kudos on the great event. You know, it looks very, very good. A lot of people.
Yeah, thank you.
That's great.
Like we would really like to see you on site, yeah, in real, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I prepared several questions, right? If you don't mind, I'll start.
Sure.
Like we know that SMS service is there, right? And like you implemented that solution, which is called person-to-application SMS, right? So tell us a bit about your business. Like, who do you serve? What do you do?
So the person-to-application SMS is different from what most people know. The A2P SMS, which is the application to person, like one-time passwords or marketing tools. The person-to-application is commonly used for a few things. One of the examples is CPaaS players. So there are a lot of software companies out there who have their own software tool for customer management, like a CRM system or support system, etc., where they would like to engage in two-way chat. And one of those methods of two-way chat is of course SMS, because it still serves a broad public. Not everybody has a smartphone, or even if they do, they don't know how to operate it, like the elderly, for example. But almost everyone has access to SMS, so it's still a very, very popular means of communication. So what we did is we built our own infrastructure, which allowed us to receive SMS from any operator in the world. So we're connected to all the national operators in our own country, but also we're using several hubs for worldwide coverage. And anyone in the world can send SMSs to our numbers, which we then sub-assign to our customers, which they can use for various purposes, like CPaaS or micropayments, etc.
Do you mind me? I know that you send us a few diagrams. Do you mind me sharing one diagram so you can?
Sure.
Go
ahead.
Just do a brief overview of that. Okay.
Yes, this is a good example. So on the left, you see a person. So this could be an individual anywhere around the world. This could be the Netherlands, my country, or Ukraine, your country, or Zimbabwe, or where's Roman now? I think he's in South Africa, right? So it doesn't matter. He's anywhere around the world, right? So on the right, there's, for example, the enterprise McDonald's. So this would be the user of the number that we would provide, and on the left of McDonald's, there's a CPaaS provider. Now, the CPaaS provider would be our customer. So as you can see, RGTN is in the middle, and next to RGTN is a CPaaS provider. This would be our customer. And we enable this CPaaS provider to receive and send two-way SMS, also two-way voice, but this is about two-way SMS. Then the CPaaS provider combines this number with and links this number to its software application, allowing Microsoft to communicate with this end user over SMS. So, for example, if Roman is in South Africa and he's not happy with his hamburger, he could file a complaint by SMS, which is then sent through South Africa MTN, for example. It's sent to one of the hubs, like BIX or iBasis, etc. They send it to our network. We send it to the CPaaS provider, and the CPaaS provider can then process that in their software application and allow the McDonald's agent to communicate with the customer. So as you can see, the message going from the end user to McDonald's is what we call P2A, which is person to application. And then the return message is the traditional A2P response message.
Okay, makes sense. And do you mind me asking, so how long did it take to make this happen? And also, like, how many people worked on the implementation process, because it's also important.
Yeah, so so how it worked is actually we are a fixed network operator and an MVNO in the Netherlands, and but we've never really stopped building our network. And at one point, we kind of came to the conclusion that the capacity we had was far too great for us to fill ourselves. So we just started offering that to anyone who wanted a telecommunications service in the Netherlands. And there was a lot of demand from CPaaS players and software companies. They wanted to have access to these kind of services, but they did not have the technical knowledge or the legal knowledge, or they did not have the infrastructure to do this. So they approached us like, hey, could we use your network and could you do this for us? So we got a lot of demand actually in the COVID era. There was a lot of demand for that. And it took us about a year to build all this. So what we did is we built, we looked at implementing existing and readily available solutions from big players. But in the end, we developed our own. So we developed our own HLRs, MSCs, SMSCs, SMPP connectors, etc. So there were a lot of components that were built by our own team with help of the PortaOne support team, by the way. Thank you guys for that. There were many questions from us to these guys.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that. So you are using absolutely the same system which you use to provide voice services, correct?
Yeah, so it's the PortaBilling platform and the PortaSwitch platform, and for the SMS part, we communicate with the PortaBilling platform over diameter. So the Porta support team has been very helpful in helping us integrate that as well. So every SMS that has been received, I think we will get into that a bit later. There's a billing transaction. Actually, there are 2 billing transactions for that. So we use the billing from PortaBilling for that. So all the CDRs and the billing records and the invoices are generated by PortaBilling.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's good. It's good to have a billing platform which can handle radius requests and M requests at the same.
Yeah. It also uses radius. It uses quite a lot of components.
Sure. So, do you mind one of the most important questions? Generally, like, what is the model of monetizing? So, how do you monetize it?
Yeah, sure.
And if you don't mind,
this,
I can share. Yeah, I can share another photo which you sent.
Sure. So, if you look at this this example here, what you see is subscriber A and subscriber B. So subscriber A would be the sender of the message. So if we're using the example of Roman in South Africa not happy with his hamburger, he would be subscriber A using operator X, for example, South Africa MTN, and he would send a message to subscriber B, which would be the CPaaS player offering the service to McDonald's in our example. Now, subscriber B, this number is on our network, and subscriber A is obviously on the operator X network, so let's say South Africa MTN. When subscriber A sends that message, he has to pay his operator for this message. So let's say this is 10 cents, for example. But in order to terminate this message to subscriber B, operator X has to use our network. And for this, we would then charge operator X. And this is what's called an interworking charge. And that's also how we monetize it. So we collect a small amount of money from operator X, which we then use to cover cost, or sometimes there is a rebate towards the subscriber B, which depends on the business case.
Yeah, my next question would be very, very simple. So what's next for RGTN? So how do you see the future? How do you see new opportunities there?
So I remember when I had my first mobile phone, which was I think like in 94 or 95, and then when you had access to SMS, which was actually blocked for prepaid subscribers at the time, and then they opened that up, and it was like a whole big deal. So this is like very, very old actually. SMS is not something new, but it's gained a lot of it's grown over time with the one-time passwords and so forth. But now you see that not only A2P for the one-time passwords and so forth, but also the P2A is growing more and more. So I expect at least for the next 4 or 5 years, this market will grow significantly, also take in mind that there are parts of the world where we will soon have RCS, which might replace, at least for some part, SMS. But there's always a fallback to SMS for people who don't have a smartphone or who don't wish to use a smartphone, like the elderly. But also in many countries, like in Africa, you have a large customer base in Africa, or Southeast Asia, or LATAM. SMS is still very, very popular. And there are also cases where these people don't have access to modern payment systems like credit card, etc., and use SMS as a means to pay for services online. So I expect this to grow over the next few years and to play a very important part in online transactions.
Right. Yeah. So still SMS remains that reliable communication to 100% deliver the message, right? Even though the let's say LTE network is not there, or maybe the mobile data is not covered there. Okay, makes sense. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much for your answers there. Again, do you mind me asking about the success story? I know that you have interesting story about the success story, how someone approached you and it just maybe help your business a bit.
Yeah, actually, we have a few success stories on your site, also about how we served the national police during COVID. But there's also a very good success story which describes the entire business case in great detail on your website. And when you guys put that out there, we got quite a few people complimenting on the story, and then they said they liked it. There was also a large party who actually approached us and said, like, hey, we read about this. Could you tell us a bit more about this, because this seems to be what we're looking for. So that we're now in contract negotiations with said party. So that's pretty great. Thanks for that.
Yeah, it's great. It's like I'm asking questions about of the prospects. How did you find about us, right? And they answer, oh, I read that article. So it's about the importance of partnership and cooperation for sure.
Oh yeah, it really helps. Yeah.
Okay, Leslie. Okay, thank you very much for this conversation.
Sure, you're welcome. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay,
see you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, everyone. Hope it was insightful and interesting.